evening and welcome to the Taft City Council meeting, successor agency regular meeting for June 18th, 2013. If you would please, as a courtesy to everyone, turn off your cell phones or put them on quiet, or I call it shut up. But tonight we will start with our usual Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm sorry, who's doing the invocation tonight? You, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
Pastor Tello from the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Thank you, Pastor Tello. Thank you for being here tonight. So we will have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Miller and an invocation by Pastor Tello of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Please join me as we salute our nation's flag, hand over your heart, and pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Since the incorporation of 1910, Taft has been a city of prayer. We have prayed, Father God, every single council meeting that we have had. We have asked for your guidance. We have asked for your understanding, because the people that live in this town are people that care about this town. And I pray that you will guide us and you will lead us in the decisions and whatever plans we have. I pray that you will guide us and bless us, we pray, in the name of Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Miller, and thank you, Pastor Tello. May we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Linder,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cryer,
Here.
Councilmember Noor,
Here.
Councilmember Miller,
Here.
and Councilmember Walter. We shall without this evening.
Thank you. The first item on tonight's agenda is a public hearing regarding the rates for refuse services and approve an ordinance establishing refuse rates. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. Staff has worked with MBS to complete a refuse and street sweeping rate study and identify the revenue necessary to fund expended expenses of the city's refuse collection system. It is determined that the commercial buildings that are vacant or not conducting day-to-day business will be charged a rate equal to the minimum residential rates as a standby charge. These charges will be added to the property tax roll and shall be collected at the same time in the same manner as ordinary city taxes are collected.
Thank you. At this time, I would open a public hearing, and I would invite anyone wishing to speak in favor or against this ordinance to please come forward. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. And I would entertain a motion to approve an ordinance titled The Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Taft amending Section 2.2-12 of the Taft City Code establishing refuse and street sweeping rates for city customers for a first reading by title only, and the reading shall be waived.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Mr. Noor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Everybody wants to live in a clean, trash-free community. I do. I know. I want to live in a neighborhood just like that. There are some people out there who don't take that to heart, and so we have to pick up trash, and there are some things that land on the streets that have to be swept up as well. Costs continue to rise. This is really quite reasonable when you think about it, and the fact of the matter is the study was done and these rates were set such that those programs are self-sustaining. They are not to turn a profit. They never will turn a profit, but we have to keep modern, efficient equipment on the line so that we can keep up with the demand, and this is refuse as well as sewer. Here again, I truly believe this to be more than reasonable, especially in light of how long it's been since increases have taken place. So I will support it. I'm a resident. I'll pay the rates. I think it makes sense. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Cryer?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm already known as I don't like taxes or increases like that, but we haven't had any increases in over 15 years in our rates, and we're going to do it in gradual over a 5-year increments, so it won't be as a burden on anybody. And it's one of those necessary things that we need to do in order to keep our infrastructure intact. Otherwise, it'll start crumbling. We're not going to be able to grow. We're not going to be able to offer services to our new businesses coming in town. And and even the existing ones we have here. So in order to keep our quality of living and our infrastructure sound, it's really necessary things that we must do, and that's why I'm in favor of it.
Thank you, Mr. Pryor. Mr. Miller?
All I gotta add is, all we're trying to do is cover our costs, and our costs have increased, and it's been 15 years, and all we're trying to do is keep up with our costs. So, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. One of the reasons why this has come up is that we discovered that through a little bit of information and investigation is that we have several commercial buildings that don't have a business license attached to them, which means in most cases they're vacant. But in a lot of cases, people still use those for either storage or maybe even social events, I don't know. But when they're in those buildings, they are flushing toilets and they're creating garbage that goes in the cans. And we realize that it's only reasonable that the city recoup the cost of that service. I equate it to the fact that if you own a rental property and your tenant moves out, you continue to pay the sewer and refuse. You don't get a stop payment from the city. So this is just a way to ensure that not only is the city recouping costs, but hopefully people that are going into these vacant buildings do flush their toilets once in a while, because that keeps the vermin and the problems at bay with toilets drying up and sinks drying up and traps drying out. So I certainly am in favor of this, and enough said. Now, Tom, last meeting you had mentioned that, do we need to ask for public opinion on this? Oh, we did the public hearing already? Yes. Okay, thank you. I answered myself. Very good. We have a motion and a second. We've had discussion. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember North?
Yes.
Councilmember Pryor?
Yes.
Councilmember Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Linder?
Yes, thank you. That passes on a 4-0 vote. Item number 2 is a public hearing regarding the rates for sewer services and approve an ordinance establishing sewer rates. Mr. Jones?
Thank you, Mayor. This is the same as the prior item, with the exception this is for sewer rates instead of refuse collection.
Thank you. At this time, I will open the public hearing and again invite anyone wishing to speak in favor of this ordinance or against this ordinance to please come forward. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, and I would entertain a motion to approve an ordinance titled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Taft amending Section 3.3-6 of the Taft City Code establishing sewer rates for city residences, businesses, and industrial customers for first reading by title only, and the reading shall be waived.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Mr. Knorr, comments?
Same day, different stuff. This time, when you flush it, you want it to go away, all the way. You don't want it to spill into Sandy Creek. It costs a great deal of money and inconveniences rats and lizards. So it's all part of the process, folks. We have to keep it healthy, and we have been very reasonable for some time. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Cryer?
No comment.
Mr. Miller?
I have no further comment.
And my comments stand the same. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember North?
Yes.
Councilmember Pryor?
Yes.
Councilmember Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Linder?
Yes. Thank you, and that passes on a 4-0 vote also. Item number 3 is a public hearing to adopt a resolution authorizing the Kern County Tax Collector to collect refuse charges. Mr. Jones?
Section 5473 of the Health and Safety Code authorizes the collection of refuse fees by the county tax collector upon adoption of an appropriate resolution by the city council. Prior to considering such a resolution, it is appropriate for the council to conduct a public hearing and to receive evidence and testimony for or against the proposed action from members of the public. Following completion of the hearing, it is appropriate for the council to consider adopting the proposed resolution. The public hearing was held on May 21st, 2013, and protests for a rate increase for refuse charges were counted, with only 1.5% of property owners objecting to the proposed rate increase. The 2013-14 fiscal year following 4 years.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. At this time, I will again open a public hearing and invite anyone wishing to speak in favor or against this issue to please come forward. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, and I'll entertain a motion to adopt a resolution entitled A Resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft providing for collection of refuse charges by the county tax collector pursuant to Section 5473 et sec Health and Safety Code.
Motion.
Okay.
I think Mr. Miller got that one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
That's, no,
job.
you got the first one. He is down there a ways. Mr. Knorr, comments?
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Somebody's got to collect this stuff for us, there's no doubt about it, and these people do a pretty good job of it, so I don't see any other options before us.
Thank you. Mr. Miller?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I have no comment.
Mr. Cryer?
No comment.
And I have no comment. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember North,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Fryer,
Yes.
Mayor Linder.
Thank you. Item number 4 is a public hearing to adopt a resolution authorizing the Kern County Tax Collector to collect sewer charges. Mr. Jones?
Section 5473 of the Health and Safety Code authorizes the collection of sewer fees by the county tax collector upon adoption of appropriate resolution by City Council. A public hearing was held on May 21st, 2013, and protests for rate increases in sewer charges were counted, with only 1.25% property owners objecting to proposed refuse rate increase for 2013-14 fiscal year and the following 4 years.
Thank you, and I think this is the last one. At this time, I will conduct a public hearing and invite anybody wishing to speak in favor or against this item to please come forward. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, and I would entertain a motion to adopt a resolution entitled Resolution of the Taft City Council of the City of Taft providing for collection of sewer charges by the county tax collector pursuant to Section 5473 et Sec Health and Safety Code.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Knorr?
Not much to say here. I do believe, however, that it's really interesting that only 1.5 and 1.25% of the property owners objected to this. So hats off to those people who live within this city and were a part of that voting process, that they understand the issues and are okay with it based on historical data. So thank you very much, Taft. I applaud you for that decision. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Cryer?
No comment.
Mr. Miller?
No comment?
The only thing I would mention too is the best thing about collecting these through the county tax collector is that if those fees are not paid, it's tied directly to the property. It's kind of our guarantee of getting what is owed to the city of Taft and the citizens. And I do also congratulate the citizens for supporting the fee increases. Very good. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Fryer,
Yes.
Councilmember North,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Linder.
Yes, thank you, and that passes on a 4-0 vote. Item number 5 is the Kern Council of Governments presentation by Becky Napier. She is a Regional Transportation Plan Sustainable Communities Strategy, or strategist, maybe I should say. And welcome back to the chambers, Becky. Also a former city manager for the city of Taft. That doesn't work any better than when you were here, so.
Okay, is that, can you hear me?
Yes.
No?
Yes, ma'am, loud and clear.
Well, I don't really need this,
Oh,
so.
You speak very well. so
There it
you got
is.
Becky.
Everybody says that, but I've got poor hearing, so.
Oh, okay, well, let me put this closer. Maybe I'll just hold it. How's that go? If I can get it off my blouse. I'm usually more organized than this, you guys. Okay, is that better? Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank you for having me tonight, and I would like to especially thank Mayor Linder for participating on our Kern Cog board and being very active, and also Councilmember Cryer for being a good alternate when Paul can't be there. We really appreciate the time that you spend on your city councils and on the Kern Cog board, because we know it's a lot of work. So
Thank you.
I want to thank you for that. I'm here tonight to do some outreach actually to the city representatives, your city council members and your mayor, on our 2014 Regional Transportation Plan. What is a regional transportation plan? It's a 20-year-plus long-range plan for the entire region, so that's for all of Kern County. We are in the earliest stages right now of the planning process. We have done community outreach to the citizens, and now we're doing the outreach to the elected officials. And also, our regional transportation has an impact on economic development. The components of an economy, as you all know, are production, distribution, which is your transportation component, and consumption. I should have asked you if you wanted the 30-minute version of this or the 10-minute version.
You know, our evening is already tied up, so maybe you should ask them.
I'm just teasing. This is about a 10 to 15-minute presentation. Everybody usually says, can you make it 5? How the transportation drives the economy is it creates an upward economic spiral. When you invest in your transportation, especially efficient transportation, it can expand your market area and lower distribution costs, which also lower costs to consumers, increasing demand for more production, creating jobs, more economic opportunities, and as a result, more investment in your transportation system. We have one example in our own backyard, and that is the Ridge Route. The Ridge Route was developed in 1915. It was a 12-hour trip at that time to Los Angeles. There were 700 curves, which created almost 100 full circles. That's why the trip took so long, and it was a 15-mile-per-hour speed limit. If we hadn't invested in that infrastructure over time, can you imagine what our economy in Kern County would be today? It would be a lot different. Over the past 8 funding cycles, Kern COG has had to do more with less. We have an average $25 million shortfall per year, 62% less funding than was anticipated in the 1998 RTP. There is still a $35 billion need that is unfunded. But the environment is to come up with creative solutions, and that's what your Kern COG board tries to do. We still anticipate that the 2014 RTP will create 124,000 jobs over 26 years.
RTP.
Regional Transportation Plan, I'm sorry. I know not to do that. As you can see, the blue line was what was anticipated, and only 1 out of those 8 funding cycles did we even come close to the blue line. We were out in the community during spring and summer of 2012 in all of the communities of Kern County. We did 32 community workshops and meetings, 4 festivals and fairs. We had a website with an online interactive game that actually was the presentation at the community workshops. You could go online and actually give your input. And we also did a 1,200-person, over 18 statistically valid phone survey. In all, we reached over 5,000 participants. Here in Taft, we had a community workshop at the Westside Recreational Park District on May 27th, and I know that there were a few people in the audience, including Kathy, that were there, and your city council members. We had 13 participants. That was round 1, and then we had a presentation and discussions at the Taft Chamber of Commerce on November 8th of 2012, and there were 10 participants. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend that meeting. What did Taft have to say? Their priorities were reduced household expenses, improved air quality, and enhanced economic development. Taft participants also supported maintaining local streets and roads, and you'll find that's a theme throughout the entire region, and transit close to housing and jobs. The phone survey, the 5 most important transportation issues, and this was on the west side. We're maintaining local streets and roads, improving traffic safety for motorists, pedestrians, and bicyclists, improving public transportation to other cities, reducing traffic congestion, and I'm sure that was on 119, and expanding highways. And I'm sure that was on 119 as well. Region-wide, there was support for the strategies that KernCog presented to the communities. There was support for maintaining existing streets and roads. Again, that's part of the theme. Supporting economic economic vitality locally and regionally. We heard that all over the region, all over Kern County, even on the east side and in the mountains. Everyone where they live, they enjoy living in their portion of the Kern region. They desire to enhance Kern and their community's assets and identify common opportunities and issues. We have some new laws that are regulating our regional transportation plan. We are now required to synchronize the housing need with the transportation plan. There are new state carbon dioxide goals. There's stricter federal air quality standards. They are requiring efficient transportation and a bottoms-up approach, so it's got to be community-driven. The federal clean air standards are really hampering every community's ability to grow. I would like to stress that. It comes from the feds. And the RTP, these are some of the accomplishments over the last 10 years locally, and some of the projects that are on the way. Gardnerfield Road from State Route 119 to Duval Road, they're surfaced unpaved shoulders. And this one I had to look up. State Route 119 between Weed Creek and Lakeview Wash Bridge, widened shoulders and overlay, and that's actually your project out on 119 that starts just west of Valley Acres and goes through Dustin Acres. I did not know, and I grew up here, so I did not know where Weed Creek was. I had to go by post miles.
Does it have fish in it too?
It was dry when I went by tonight. And it's not marked Weed Creek, I have to tell you that. Projects that are on the way are State Route 119 and 33 Junction to State Route 119 I-5 separation, and that's going to be an asphalt overlay. Various locations in your city, constructing curb ramps, in-pavement crosswalk lighting and striping. Midway Road from State Route 33 to State Route 119, surfacing unpaved shoulders. And then the big one is the constructing of passing lanes between Cherry Avenue and Elk Hills Road, and that's almost a $12 million project. Road construction is not cheap, unfortunately. This map just is an example of coordinating transportation and local land use. This is the entire county. It shows some transit priority areas and also some job priority areas and trying to connect the two. And this is a little hard to see, so. We are working right now on 3 scenarios. The first one is called the old plan. This is pretty much business as usual. It partially funded maintenance. There were no new funding sources. It was very highway focused and used historic growth patterns, otherwise known to some people as sprawl. The preliminary plan, it assumes an 11% increase in funding. We don't anticipate, we've come up with a lot of different areas of funding. We don't anticipate that they'll all come through. But over time, we're hoping for some of them to come through, so we're being very conservative at 11%. It's going to fully fund maintenance. It postpones a south beltway in Bakersfield. It's going to attempt to fully fund transit, bike, and pedestrian facilities. Again, it all depends on funding. And in Bakersfield only, there'll be market-driven land use changes beyond 2023. Scenario C is an intensified alternative. This one, there is not funding for, but because of our CEQA document, we have to come up with what they call bookends. So you start with the old plan, and you go out to, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do? And so the intensified alternative assumes a major increase in funding, extensive commuter rail and light rail investments, major change in land use around transit service, and accelerates land use changes in Bakersfield. These are some of the results of our preliminary scenarios. One of the things that I hope you take away from this slide, and I know the council has this slide presentation in front of them, is that the less land you consume, and as you go down the scenarios, you'll notice that scenario A consumed 56,564 acres, scenario C, 45,000. The less land you consume, the less vehicle miles traveled per person you have, the less energy used in buildings, and the less greenhouse gas emissions that you emit. And we have identified some success stories that we're going to put as an exhibit to our appendix to our regional transportation plan. And this is a visualization of your park on 2nd Street that we did in conjunction with your staff and your planning department. I hope it comes to fruition. It would really enhance your downtown. We currently have, we're a member of the CalVans. It's a van pool program. They currently have 65 van pools operating. One of those van pools, I think, comes from Shafter to Taft College for students to attend school. And we're hoping that will expand over the county for different things. We also have a van pool that goes from like the Arvin Lamont area to the IKEA out by where the Tahone Ranch famous footwear is, that really reduces vehicle miles traveled per person, which is what a lot of the regulations are looking at.
If they put that outlet mall out there, they'll really need some transportation.
Yeah, I came back from LA Saturday night, and I saw that there was a big sign coming out of Santa Clarita, I think, that was advertising that big outlet mall. But you're correct. We have identified, I should start from the beginning. We did a major study on rural bike networks, and one of those was in Taft. In the Taft area. This is what we hope to expand the local bike network all over the county. And this is just in the Taft area. Our process right now is we are currently in the May to June area where we are presenting to the city councils and the board of supervisors. In November of 2013, the regional housing needs allocation plan will be out. In December of 2013, the draft RTP and the environmental review will be out for public review. In January and February, we'll be going through a public hearing process, and in March of 2014, we hope to adopt the regional transportation plan. And we are required to adopt something by June of 2014 because our prior transportation plan will expire in June of 2014. So that's the end of my presentation. You have our website is www.kerncog.org, and you can, if you go to the regional transportation plan, almost everything that I've talked about is on there. You can call our staff, email me. We are going to have public hearings if you have any other further input. I do know you're getting a new interim planning director, and hopefully he'll participate on our Regional Planning Advisory Committee, so you can send input through, hi.
And Mark,
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Becky.
It's nice to meet you. But you can send input through him, you can call us. I mean, we want your input, so please give it. I'll take any tonight as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Appreciate you being here tonight. Gentlemen, do you have any questions of Mrs. Napier?
you know, I have a brief observation. Nice to see you again, Becky. Always nice to have you back. One of the things that Becky brought up, and actually you highlighted this in the region-wide community input portion of her presentation, and that was support economic vitality locally and regionally. I mean, that's the foundation of everybody's life. That's the foundation of quality of life. That's the foundation of social programs and infrastructure and any type of cash flow. And yet, something you have to be aware of, in Sacramento right now, you have a supermajority almost that is talking about wellhead excise taxes. They're talking about fracking delays or stopping the fracking practice, which has been going on safely for decades. And then we're talking about things like high-speed rail, irresponsible raises being handed out with temporary tax increase funds, and just a litany of things. So here again, KernCog has identified the fact supporting economic vitality locally and regionally. We are blessed with the ability to do business, and we have some resources in Kern County in our area. Not only that, but we have the knowledge and expertise to responsibly produce and take advantage of those things. Production was the base of what Becky told you. That's what turns things. And yet we have those who are elected by somebody else, not me, who would choose to strangle the economy and everything that we do. We don't want to hand out in Kern County. We just want the ability to produce what we can. We can make our living. We can make our way. But they keep getting in the way. And so we have to be active. You all are here. You're active in government. Your active level in government has got to go up to the state. Our local representatives, Shannon and Jean and Kevin, they all get it. But unfortunately, the beauty of the city of Taft is within. The unfortunate fact is we are surrounded by the state of California, and we're going to have to do something to change that. All right, that's all I have. Thank you, Becky.
Mr. Cryer, you have any comments?
No comment.
Mr. Miller?
Yeah, but, we had two major meetings on the west side, and a total of 24 people showed up out of 25,000 represented on the residents on the west side. So we're hoping those 24 people got it and are going to make it better for all the rest of us. And I'm really causing the fact that KernCog has recognized that 119 is a major corridor in this county, and it's a widely used road that does need widening and resurfacing, and it's heavily used. So I'm glad to see that those kinds of funds in the projects. And when we say we're waiting for the money, and that's the money from the federal government, and that's the money that gets passed down to the state, and they take out theirs and they give it to KernCog, and then we try to make it work for Kern County. So hats off to KernCog, hats off to you, Becky. Thank you for the job that you do out there, and thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I have the, I guess it's the fortune to sit on the KernCog, maybe misfortune. Some of this stuff gets really dull, for a better word. And bless you guys that sift through it and help us understand it. But the one thing that concerns me a little bit is the new guidelines. And I'm trying to figure out a way. It says synchronize housing need with transportation plan. That sounds really good. My concern, my take on that is that transportation money is going to go now where heavy residential or where the populace is, and some of the other places out here may be fringed out a little bit. But on the flip side, I'd like to think that maybe there would be some indication that they would allow us to recognize the need for housing on the west side. And if we were able to do that with a little bit less issues that we're dealing with, then we remove, in the grand scheme of things, you move 300-400 cars off of 119 every day.
Every day.
So that's one thing. Also, I will tell you, the stricter federal air quality standards, they've already done assessments, and if everybody in Kern County moved out of Kern County, the air is not going to get any better. So it's really unrealistic what they're asking us to do. The PM 2.5, I'm sorry, I'm probably spewing out more particulate right now than the federal government allows, because I had a really good dinner tonight, but...
It's dust.
Yeah, well, maybe I should clarify that. I meant just by speaking. But anyway, bottom line is that some of this is really unrealistic, and Kern COG is strapped with trying to sift through this stuff and keep those dollars coming in so that we can continue to fix our roads and continue to do the things we need to do. I don't think anybody's going to be upset with efficient transportation or maybe some better intermodal type stuff, but for now, it's going to be really tough to meet those requirements. And like I said, I appreciate you being here tonight and explaining some of this to us. And as Mr. Miller said, when these events come to town, the citizenry need to show up for it. You can't just sit back there on the couch and say somebody else is going to take it, because 24 people are making the decisions for this region or this area over here, and it's important to be involved. So, Becky,
Mayor, if I may
Oh,
touch on one more item,
absolutely.
and Becky brought this up. This is the slide I will refer to right here. How transportation drives the economy. You will note the investment in transportation, efficient transportation, expanded market area, lower distribution costs, lower cost to consumer, increased demand. All that transportation investment has to do with goods, consumer goods, right? Commercial goods. Spending $100 billion that we don't have on high-speed rail, which will never, ever move any commercial goods, while our infrastructure continues to crumble, will do nothing for the commercial vitality of the state of California. Nothing. Remember what I told you about high-speed rail. Peter Pan will get up to Northern California to see Tinkerbell without high-speed rail. Other than that, the whole damn thing is a fairy tale, folks. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. A nice way to close it up.
Very good, Mr. Miller, very good.
Thank you for having me.
Again, thank you, Becky. Yes, I thought I might. Okay, moving back onto our agenda. Item number 6 is the appointment of 3 members to the City of Taft Planning Commission to fill scheduled vacancies. Mrs. Hudgens, is that when I should get into this thing, or after the motion?
Well, let him read the staff report,
Okay.
and then you can...
That's probably an excellent idea. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. Pursuant to Section 5783.5 of the California Public Resources Code and the city's policy regarding appointments to boards and commissions, notice has been duly advertised informing those interested to submit an application for serving on the City of Taft Planning Commission. City of Taft Administrative Policies and Procedures Manual, Section 103 states that members of the Planning Commission are appointed by the City Council, and they must remain registered voters within the city during the entire term of the appointment. Ordinance number 608 states that appointments are for a term of 4 years. However, there is no Taft policy or Taft municipal code that sets term limits. Terms for Planning Commissioners Walchuk, Thompson, and Sutherland are to expire June 30th, 2013. Several applications have been received by June 11th, 2013 deadline. The applicants were all verified as registered voters living in the Taft city limits by the city clerk. The candidates were invited to attend this meeting and be prepared to tell a little bit about themselves and perhaps answer a few questions by the council. Applicants were received were Glenn Black, Renee Hill, Carolyn Jackson, Shannon Jones, Robert Jordan, Yvette Mayfield, Sean Sutherland, and Robert Thompson.
Very good, thank you very much. Before we go any further on this, I would like to just personally express my thank you to all the folks that applied. I think in my tenure on the council, this is the most people we've ever had that are wanting to be involved in their community, and you should be applauded. As typical, we have 3 slots, and we have 7 people, 8 people, and so there will be some that aren't appointed tonight, obviously. Should I go into the ballot issue? And gentlemen, we've talked different ways, different processes of doing this. We will still have folks come up and introduce themselves, and but if you're in agreement, do you guys have this, or is this the only one? Okay. The city clerk has come up with a sort of a ballot for us, which has all the candidates' names on it, and if you guys are so inclined, you'd be able to vote your vote, and then we would return these ballots to the city clerk, and she would tabulate them, and we would be done. I mean, it's a little cleaner, it makes it a document, and all I would need is a motion to approve the ballot. Oh, they're already here, okay, very good. So if you gentlemen are so inclined, we will need a motion to approve the ballot measure.
This is not we're not hiding anything
No,
still.
no.
It's an open voting, we're not,
Absolutely.
I'll put my name on the ballot. So
Yeah.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
All right.
Second.
Do we need a roll call or just an all voice vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have none. Okay, so here's the ballots, and as I told you, gentlemen, everybody's name is on it. It allows us to keep a little bit of a record.
I get more?
That's it.
I'll go early and go often.
Oh. Mr. Cryer, I forgot. Mr. Cryer votes more, no.
And you cannot ask him for an ID to prove that he's...
No, that's right, that's right. So at this time, what we would like to do is invite each of the candidates to come forward and briefly tell us, we have their applications and we have a lot of good information, but I think it's important that the public hears from these folks. And so we would invite you to come to the podium, introduce yourself, and probably the best thing to do would be just to tell us maybe your occupation and why you would like to serve on the Planning Commission. That sound good to you? And I'm going to take these in the order that they are on our ballot, and evidently they're alphabetical. So I would invite Mr. Glenn Black to come forward first.
Yes, my name's Glenn Black, and I'd like to thank the City Council for all that they do in our community. And at this time, due to Council's recommendation and a possible conflict of interest in my business being a contractor, I'd like to respectively withdraw my application at this time. My willingness to serve, there probably could be a conflict someday. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Black. It's important to note that that you are willing to serve your community, and that's commendable. We appreciate it, and we'll get you some other time. Mrs. Renee Hill.
Good evening. My name is Renee Hill. I have submitted my application for your consideration. My husband Greg and I, in making a choice to move back to my hometown, we thought long and hard about what we could contribute. We chose to roll the dice and develop a business that would contribute to the concept of a historic destination point. Taft has the fort, the museum, and the monument, and a downtown with a huge potential. Part of Taft's ability to thrive lies in the ability for the downtown to prosper. Not just for my business, but for all the businesses in any location. A successful community needs a successful downtown. What are my qualifications? Well, I've spent the last 25 years talking people into spending money on what I had to sell and give it to the businesses I represent. I went to Cal Poly. I have a degree in design. I can draw blueprints and read them. I can look at a room, a building, and even a piece of furniture and tell you how to make it functional and how to make it beautiful. I have owned a business, several. I've employed people. I work for large corporations. I have seen great successes and failures in both, all of which have contributed to an education and a desire for success. In the 2 years since I have been back in our town, I've put together a successful and growing business, and done so on a very shoestring budget. My husband and I are active in the Chamber of Commerce. We aided in resurrecting Cruisin' Center and are active in its continued growth. We also have a strong presence in the Downtown Association. I may not appear to be the most qualified, but I assure you, I am the most impassioned. Taft may never be like it was when we were children, but it can continue to be a great place for our children to raise their children. But we have to plan for it, and we have to do that now. The function of the Planning Commission is to recommend and develop all aspects of this city's future. My success is intertwined in your success. I wish to serve and be a part of Taft's future, to aid in making it something possibly even greater than it was once before. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hill. I don't think so now. You're kind of moving quick, aren't you? Gentlemen, any questions?
I have no questions, thank you very much.
Thank you. Well said.
Exit stage left.
The next person is Carolyn Jackson, and she contacted me and the city clerk and I the other day, and let us know that due to a prior commitment, she couldn't be here. She did present a letter, and if you guys would indulge me, I'll try to read this and not butcher up her letter too much here. So, anyway, good evening, City of Taft, council members, staff, and guests. I'm sorry I could not attend tonight's meeting, but I have an important prior commitment. I hope to convey my interest and qualifications through this message, and also give you some information about myself. As an interested member of our community, I would like to volunteer my time, skills, and talents to assist the planning and future of our city. My name is Carolyn Jackson. I'm speaking for her, just to make it clear. But most everyone calls me Carol. I was born in Taft, attended schools here, and my first job was delivering the Daily Midway Driller. I was a buyer and investment recovery manager for ARCO for almost 15 years until they moved out of California. I then finished my education while substitute teaching at Taft City and Taft High School District. After completing a bachelor's degree from CSUB in business administration, I went to work as a buyer for GAF Materials, helping them to build and start up a roofing manufacturing plant in Shafter. Once the plant was up and running, I turned my interest to accounting and took a position as a business manager and controller for a large labor contractor who provided over 2,000 workers for the agricultural, manufacturing, and processing industries. After my grandsons were born, I retired and to look after them for a while, and also while their parents worked, and ended up with the child care business for teachers only. I have taught safety classes at Taft College for the past year at night, and have Saturday classes lined up all summer and through next fall as part of their Industry, Health, and Safety Associates in Science degree program. I've recently started a new accounting bookkeeping business called Business Fit, and I hope I will be able to help take the employee burden off of small businesses through outsourcing some of their business tasks. I have a broad range of business interest and education in my background, and I feel this will be an asset to the Taft Planning Commission. I have supervised a pipe warehouse and have been extensively involved in building an office complex and a manufacturing facility. I am familiar with government and state regulations and requirements. One of the goals I would like to see as a commissioner is to continue with the abatement of those properties that are neglected, abandoned, and/or dangerous. I would like to see Taft encourage more affordable housing and subdivisions through a streamlined system of permitting and zoning that will entice those working in our city to live in our city. One long-range dream is to see that the Rails to Trails extends even farther to the west and eventually meet up with the Enos Lane portion of the Kern River Parkway through Bakersfield. I would like to see the Taft of my youth with Center Street full of viable businesses and serve the needs of and the pocketbooks of our residents so that a trip to Bakersfield is not needed or wanted. I I would like to see the houses maintained with pride and the community that continues to work together to help those less fortunate with the hand up and not a handout. I see my role as a planning commissioner as one that helps maintain and interpret the city's general plan, to make recommendations and help implement those plans to the city council. Planning Commission should maintain the city's zoning ordinance and make recommendations for improvement to the city council. It is our responsibility to review and approve land use subdivisions and new developments and conduct hearings on all of the above items. I realize being a public servant requires a lot of time and effort to make our city a better place to live and work. I appreciate the City of Taft's administration, departments, board members, and volunteers for all their hard work and contributions. Thank you so much for allowing this statement to be read and let you know my interest and qualifications for the position of Taft Planning Commissioner, and it's signed Carol Jackson. Oh, I'm glad she's the only one that didn't show up. Okay, so we're moving on now to Miss Shannon Jones.
Hello. My name is Shannon Jones, and I have worked for the Chamber for the past 2 years as the event coordinator while attending Cal State University Bakersfield, where I graduated with highest honors with my master's degree in organizational administration last Tuesday night.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It feels nice to not have to do school. I have worked with businesses and the city staff and the police to bring new and exciting events to Taft, including the farmers market and the promotion of the First Friday car cruises. I have served on committees at both Taft College, the city, as well as the city and the chamber, organizing and planning meetings and speakers for both Sit and Sips and the Downtown Business Committee meetings. I have worked all year planning events, and the highly anticipated Taft Fireworks Show will bring fireworks back to Taft on Wednesday, July 3rd, with the sponsorships from area businesses and community donations. Taft is a great, safe community where I'm raising my 2 children who are involved in activities through the rec and the Taft Tiger Sharks Swim Club. The growth and promotion of Taft as a great place to raise a family and bring new businesses is important, and the Planning Commission, the city, and the chamber are all leaders in this effort. I would like to use my knowledge of Taft and its residents to further the growth of the city, and serving on the Planning Commission can do that. I can bring unique viewpoints as both a woman and a younger citizen, as well as my experience from working with businesses and community leaders and my education to increase businesses and keep the integrity of the city of Taft intact. I appreciate your consideration in selecting myself as the next candidate for the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Shannon.
Do you have any questions?
Thanks for applying.
Yes,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next person is Robert, or as we call him, Bob Jordan. And Bob, again, I would say thank you for serving. I know you're a Navy veteran, and we appreciate that.
Many, many years ago.
That's okay.
Okay. Once again, I'm a licensed pastor. I'm currently serving as a chaplain for the Baker's Homeless Center. I was born and raised in Taft as a Fort baby. Right, Randy? Right. Okay. I'm a single parent. I raised 2 children. They've been through all the Taft schools. I went through all the Taft schools. I have a bachelor's degree in computer programming. My family's been involved in Taft for many, many years. My grandfather was the first deputy sheriff assigned to Taft, and he also helped design the cemetery unit down there with the flat headstones, which incidentally now I'm also listed to be on their board of directors. I just applied. My father worked for the Kern County 4th Road District for over 40 years, and he ran for supervisor 1 year. I worked for the State Department of Corrections for over 8 years. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran, the submarine force. I was an E4, and that was a nuclear submarine. I could probably still pull the rods today if I had to, although I wouldn't want to be around when I did it. My rating in there, I was listed as a commissaryman, but I also, because I had photographic background, took pictures of enemy installations through the periscope, and occasionally would go ashore with the Seabees to do reconnaissance work over there. So watch your backs. Okay. I've been employed for the last 9 years for the Kern County Elections Department as a site supervisor down at the Veterans Building there. I was most recently the president of Taft Manifee. That was a program for feeding the free hot meals, providing free clothing for all the hurting citizens in Taft. We closed because we lost our building. It was sold, and and I got tired. I rebuilt and designed that building to match up environmental health standards and building codes, so I'm familiar with blueprints, building codes, and environmental health rules and regulations. Okay, I have rentals in Taft, and I keep those up, so I'm familiar with those codes. I am involved with the Chamber of Commerce, the Downtown Business Association. I said I am a pastor, and I have a ministry of helps. I serve my country, my state, my county, and now I'd like the honor to serve the city of Taft and pay it back for the many, many years and the wonderful things I have taught in Taft and how I miss and I wish were back but never will be. The goals I see as a commissioner is I would like to see the city make up a list of vacant buildings and sites, because Taft, at this point, because I've tried to get buildings, is unfriendly business-wise. They say, yeah, you want a business, go ahead, find a building and let us know. But if we had a list of all the vacant buildings, the city should know, because they put business licenses out. They can go over here, they can get the building, they can get the size of the building, they can get the cost of the building, and who has it. That's business-friendly. So they don't waste time running around and around. Now, I can go to Bakersfield and get a building because every realtor in Bakersfield has all that list. Okay, I'd like to see the farmer's market personally moved to City Park. It's cooler, it's shadier, and I think we get a lot more interest from vendors and from individuals attending it. I'd like to see a community bulletin board put up there, that'll be put up there that will list everything that's going on in Taft. If you drive into Taft, that's the first thing you can see. You can stop there, and you can see everything that's happening in Taft. And the thing that bugs me the most is these yard sale signs that stay up all over. I know it bugs you too.
Yeah.
I would like to see somebody go around, pick them up, every address that's on there, $5 for each one that's left up a week after the sale. You do that for 1 month, and I guarantee they pick them up. And I also think Taft needs an RV parking spot. It could be a dry spot, but if somebody comes into town for 2 or 3 days for a car show or something, they either have to park in front of somebody's house or find a place way out in the country. We have nothing. It can be a dry spot, and we could even, rent out spaces there. The city can make a thing on that. So it's possible to start that. We had one during El Dorado. I have no idea why it ever stopped. So I know it sounds like griping, but I want to see Taft grow, and these things will make it grow. And most of all, I want to see all of us prosper. I'd like to thank everyone who has applied for this position, because they're all very talented and intelligent individuals. I'm honored to be among that group. I'd like to thank you for all of your time.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Any questions, gentlemen?
Oh, Bob, thank you for your service. Go Navy.
Okay, the next person is Yvette Mayfield. Good evening.
My name is Yvette Mayfield. I am married. My husband, Mike Mayfield, works at Taft College. I've only lived here for 4 years. I was born and raised in the city of Wasco. However, I've only been here 4 years. I've been tied here a lot longer because my husband and I dated for 13 years, long distance. So I've been in and out of the city of Taft. My son just graduated, my youngest son, from Taft High School the other night. So I feel tied to Taft even though I don't have the long history. My husband has lived here most all his life, and his family goes back to about 1913 here in Taft. So there's a long history in the Mayfield family and the Grotman family here. I come tonight because I want the opportunity to get involved in Taft. My background that I think qualifies me is for the last 12 years I've worked with the city of Wasco. I've worked in the housing and redevelopment, so I have a strong background in community development, economic development, building codes, rehabilitation, pretty much anything city government. I understand the general plan, the housing elements, the need for zoning, and the planning process and how it works. So my background in that is what I bring to the table, and then the opportunity, of course, to get involved. As far as what I see as goals, it's hard for me to have goals without knowing the dynamics of everything, being kind of a youngster here, but I would have to say a main goal would be housing. There's a housing shortage. People drive to Bakersfield because there's a housing shortage. We need affordable housing, not just affordable housing, but there is a need for affordable housing. So I'd like to see those. I'd like to see the downtown needs redevelopment, and I understand with the elimination of the redevelopment agency, that's harder, but I have a background with CDBG and other programs that could allow us to do things that would help to redevelop our downtown area also. So it's those things that I think I bring to the table and are my strengths, and I do ask for your consideration for the position.
Thank you very much.
Any questions?
Gentlemen?
No, most people that have come up from out of the area and now live here always say, I got here as fast as I could. So, welcome back to town.
I got here as fast as he could get me here. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. The next person is Sean Sutherland. Did Sean not make it? Okay. Then we'll move on to Robert Thompson. I guess we could call you kind of an incumbent, huh?
Yes. Veteran, incumbent veteran. Veteran, I am that too. Robert Thompson, San Joaquin Hospital project manager, and I guess you could say past vice chairman of Planning Commission. All I'd have to do is say, wow. I don't know what to say. I think the whole 3.5 years that I've been on the Planning Commission, we haven't had 8 applicants altogether.
Right.
And we've replaced, I know, 4 people. So I'm really glad to see this. And if I knew I had 8 people to compete against, I would have wrote a 3-page speech and I'd have gave it to everybody. But I didn't. All I can say is that I've enjoyed my last 4 years, 3.5 years, and I'd like to see 4 more years.
Very good. Thank you. I don't know if you guys have any questions, but we're good.
Thanks for all your hard work.
Yeah, thank you, Robert.
Mr. Walchuk has been on the planning commission for quite some time, and he chose not to reapply?
That is correct. That is correct, which reminds me, we need to make sure we recognize that.
I think he's been on 8 years, hasn't he, or 2 terms? Pretty close, pretty close. We want to thank him for his service.
Well, absolutely, and I think you just brought that up, and I think we'll have something in place for that. Okay, so then, gentlemen, at this time, we are looking for 3 planning commissioners, so if you would vote your choice of 3, and we'll go from there.
Is there anything in the ordinance we couldn't have 9 commissioners?
Expand the.
Expand it. We've got great people out there.
We had a great showing.
Yeah.
Again, I would like to thank all of you that applied. The talent that came before us tonight, and the ambition and the wanting to serve is just very refreshing for a change. I appreciate all of you taking the time and wishing to do so.
It's overwhelming.
We also have appointments for the Recreation District and the mosquito abatement. Is that the other one?
Yeah, those will be coming too, so.
That'll be coming up next year, I think. It's posted out on the bulletin board.
Okay.
This is almost as exciting as counting the ballots for the sewer and refuse, isn't it?
Can we go through these and verify?
Okay.
If there's a tie.
I hope none of you left what do they call those, a chat or a shed or...
A hanging chat. Are you going to introduce our planner? Okay, good. Oh, he's going to do it at 7?
He's got it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we got off between two. You guys can hardly choose those.
Okay, so... Okay, so I see, I apologize, let me look at this differently, so. Okay, it looks like Robert Thompson is guaranteed a spot. We have a tie. Yeah. How do we handle, well, if we have three positions, though, the top vote getters get it, correct? Okay. So then it looks like Sean Sutherland and Shannon Jones, no, I'm sorry. Okay. It's Robert Thompson, Renee Hill, and we have a tie for the third one. So how do we handle that? What's that?
No flip of the coin.
There's never a foolproof method, is there? You know, I believe you're correct, we did that. And if Shannon and, well, Sean has no play in this, he's not here tonight, correct? Shall we flip a coin?
It's up to the attorney.
It's up to the council action.
So we can vote again?
Yes, the
Who's the tie between?
The tie is between Shannon Jones and Sean Sutherland. And I guess, yeah, that could, we should vote again. Do we have more ballots? Okay, gentlemen,
We just do a voice vote.
we just need to do a decision between Shannon Jones and Sean Sutherland. So,
I'd like to nominate Shannon Jones.
okay. Mr. Noor?
I would nominate Sean Sutherland.
All right, Mr. Cryer?
Boy, it's a tough one. They're both great people.
I know it, I know.
I think that they're, all of them are great. And this, we can get expanded, but I have to go with the Sean Sutherland.
I think I'm going to help you because I was going to go with Sean Sutherland too, so I think you fixed the problem. So we have
One vote.
1 and 3, correct? So it's Sean Sutherland is the third candidate. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So Robert Thompson, Renee Hill, and Sean Sutherland are our choices tonight. And that's the motion that I would entertain right now, is to appoint 3 members, Robert Thompson, Renee Hill, and Sean Sutherland, to serve on the Taft City Planning Commission for terms from July 1st, 2013 through June 30th, 2014. This is only a one-year appointment?
No, it's
Okay.
therefore, that's.
Okay, so it should be through 2017 then, correct?
I would make that motion.
Okay. We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any more discussion, Mr. Noor?
No, other than that was very tough because we had an incredible talent pool. We had enough planning commissioners to make up 2 talented
I know it.
planning commissions, and that is a very unique position to be in. So I want to thank everybody. And one thing about living in a community like Taft, there are going to be other opportunities to serve your community.
City council elections next year, so
Yeah. Mr. Miller, was that your comment?
yes.
All right, then may we have a voice, or I'm sorry, a roll call.
Councilmember Noor?
Yes.
Councilmember Cryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Miller?
Yes.
And Mayor Linder?
Yes, thank you. That motion is carried by a 4-0 vote. Item number 7, moving on, citizens' request for public comments. This is the time and the place for the general public to address the city council on matters within its jurisdiction. State law prohibits the council from addressing any issue not previously included on the agenda. Council may receive comment and set the matter for a subsequent meeting. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. The first person wishing to speak is Richard Clayton and Stephen Trent. I believe this is an introduction of the new company that is now operating our wastewater treatment plant. Good evening.
I just wanted to introduce myself, and obviously you know James. Now with Severn Trent, we took over the plant June 1, and I think the integration, we call it an integration because there were quite a few plants we took over in California, went well. I believe they've got everything they need to perform their normal day-to-day duties, and we're at the moment just going through and making sure that and training the guys so they're up to speed with all our internal compliance programs. But the main thing was just to come and say hello, and my colleague Adam is with us as well. So, and if you guys have any questions about Severn Trent, I can answer a few today, or I can leave you my business card and you can always call me.
Very good. I think what we need to do is make the public aware that Severn Trent actually absorbed Southwest Water Company, correct? So it was a merger or a hostile takeover, whatever you want to call it. But that is why we're hearing new names for our operator out there.
Yes.
And so you're operating under the current contract. And I was going to ask legal do we need to do anything with a change?
We already did.
You already did it.
We'll probably schedule a Public Works meeting sometime, and maybe we invite you gentlemen to come in, we'd get
that would be good, yeah.
Introduce ourselves a little closer and have a little more.
I apologize, I just remembered that we did do that, yeah, so. And James, are you staying on for the?
James is staying with us,
Very
yes.
good.
Yeah.
All right, good.
So had to go get a whole bunch of new shirts, huh?
Yes, I did. We're very jealous of them actually, because they get these blue ones. But yeah, no, James, our intent is to keep the whole crew, and we actually took on a new employee today, started today.
Oh, good,
Yeah,
good.
so that was good, so yeah.
Well, welcome. We appreciate the efforts that James has always done for us. I'm sure that Severn Trent's going to take good care of us. And gentlemen, do you have any questions of our new operator?
I have one question. I want to make sure that the police shooting range is still going to be a welcome part of the facility down there.
I don't think we ever say no to the police.
That's a good idea.
Or city council with guns.
I'll second that motion. Thank you, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you, James. Good to see you. The next person wishing to speak is Shannon Jones with the Chamber of Commerce.
Hello again. We have ordered some banners for all of our, there's some individuals who have ordered, we call them tribute banners, and they are replacing the banners that are up on the light poles. And sponsors of our fireworks show at the $1,000 level or higher were awarded these particular banners. And so I wanted to come. They're going to be hung around Taft this week. We have another order that will be going in tomorrow that we hope to get hung before July 4th. Our fireworks show is sponsored, our main sponsor is Westside Waste Management, but I wanted to bring this one. This one is actually from Huddleston Crane. They were the first people to commit to sponsoring the fireworks show, and Dave Knorr did it at a council meeting last year, and so this banner is about to be hung, and I just wanted to come and present it to you guys.
Can you, unfurl it so we can see it? How nice.
Let's see what it says.
Let's read it.
Dave Knorr, a hero, no.
Americans are blessed to be born into freedom. Let us not take our freedoms for granted. Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yes. And, but I just wanted to let...
Actually, I made that up, thank you.
Yes, you did. But we are having these banners where if individuals or citizens want to purchase them, they can design whatever they would like it to say. We have 3 different backgrounds that you can select. They're all red, white, and blue themed, and they'll be up from July 4th until after Veterans Day, so you can honor your either current or veteran with a message, or your business with your business logo.
I in fact went down today and ordered my banner for my daughter, who is proudly serving in the United States Air Force.
Yes.
And we're going to have a banner up for her with her picture on it, so.
Yep, and that will be going in tomorrow, so we can get that hung before the 4th of July as well. The other thing is, we've got the Taft Farmers Market, which is on Thursdays. It's at the Chamber Office, 400 Kern Street, on Thursdays from 4 to 7. And this week, we have, our bread guy will be coming back, and he's got pound cakes and pastries, as well as farm fresh eggs, in addition to fruits and vegetables from some of the other vendors. And then the Taft Fireworks Show is on Wednesday, July the 3rd. It's going to be in the evening, July the 3rd, so you guys can spend time with your families on July the 4th in the evening. And the fireworks show starts at 9 o'clock. We will have a map out in both the Midway Driller and the Independent that has the exact locations of where you can park and what areas you cannot. And then, of course, on the 4th of July itself, we have a free all-community picnic that has water slides and food and craft vendors and live music all day. So,
Good.
that's all I got.
2 questions.
Yes.
Is the corn man going to be there?
It is actually the Corn Man, but he's not doing food this time, this Thursday. I think he's going to do it next Thursday.
I've been reading all this stuff about the corn man. People are looking for the corn man. And I assume that he brings fresh corn into town?
Yeah, and then he actually does it, he grills it right there up and puts all the stuff on it. And then he also does a really good, like, peach with whipped cream and caramel, and so you can have corn for dinner and then peaches for dessert.
My second question is, and I may have missed it, what is the cost of the banners?
They're $250.
Very good.
Well, I might throw a challenge out to all the families who have veterans or want to honor a veteran who had served or who are currently serving. One of the things is that these banners are going to be up, from what I understand, until Veterans Day, which I believe is in November. So these banners will be up from July to November, and once they be taken down, you will be able to keep those banners for your family. So
Correct.
So
yeah, I mean, you get a good, I believe it's about 5 months of actually being hung around town. It makes our town more festive. It gives, all the passerbyers.
And you can be creative in your banners, you know, and the verbiage that you want on it. It's not a set thing. So however you want to do it. So.
Well, and we have some samples from some of the other sponsors of the fireworks show. We have sponsors from Era and Oxy, as well as Chevron, Harvey Hall with Hall Ambulance. And so there's some different ones that you can kind of look at if you need an idea, that sort of thing. But Southwest Signs is actually, they're a chamber member, and they have been doing our banners for us, and they help with the design. If you don't really know where to go, we can kind of point you in the right direction.
Cool. Great project. Yeah. Anything else, gentlemen?
I'm thrilled. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Shannon.
guys.
Thank you so much. Okay. Moving on to the treasurer's report. Do we have a treasurer's report? Yes, we do. Nice to see you tonight, Ben.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The treasurer's report for tonight is just about like it was the last time we had a treasurer's report. This is as of April the 30th. Our total operating cash and investments are $8.5 million, which the general fund is $865,000, which is $153,000 more than last report. Special revenue fund is $319,000, which is considerably less. But for those people who don't know, and I'm saying that because I have been asked, what in the world is a special revenue fund? That's grant money that is presented to the city for such things as traffic safety, information technology, etc. So I just want people to understand what these funds are, because there's a lot of funds. And federal wastewater treatment plant is one item. That is money to pay for wastewater treatment for the federal prison. The other wastewater treatment fund is for the rest of the city of Taft. So they're both of them about approximately $3 million each are in those funds. So it's just, like I say, I want people to understand what these funds are for. The two big negatives are transit fund and the community correctional facility are about the same as they have always been. $900,000 for the correctional facility negative, and the transit fund is in the hole, $1,200,000 awaiting money from the state. So, any questions?
That's $2 million hit on our general fund, so wish they'd pay up.
Yes, indeed.
Eventually, I hope they will. Thank you, Ben. Next item on the agenda is council statements and non-action. Mr. Cryer.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to give kudos to the Chamber of Commerce for the Railroad Trails Car Motorcycle Show. They did a great job. Friday night was very successful with the concert and that played there on 5th Street. It was very successful. The next day we had the car show itself. It was a little warm, but it was interesting. A lot of people out there had nice cars and vehicles, and I enjoyed it. Also like to give recognition to the Taft College for foundation for during the coming up event for the oil petroleum event. I have my notes here in front of me here, but there it is. But I have an oil summit, and that's something new to Taft. And being an oil country here on the west side, we have a lot of innovation that came out from this area here. A lot of new techniques in oil extraction, safety, and discoveries. And for the Taft to do that, college, it just put more notoriety in our area. It also puts the college on the map. And hopefully in the future, they might come up with different symposiums like fracking, educating the people, come up with new technology on fracking, and teaching other industries. There's so many opportunities that college can do, and also make us well known, bring tourism, and hopefully more industry here, and oil related to what's going on in this area here. My other concern I have is with the state of California. You know, they take our Economic Development Corporation here from us. They take away our prison, take the prisoners out for SB 109. They take away our jails from us, our courthouse from us, so that we lose our court here locally. And then we have elections, and they vote our sales tax, temporary sales tax increases, increase our income tax. Then they all of a sudden, reading the paper, they're going to give everybody in the state of California, all the employee union here, state employees, 4.5% pay raises based on, oh, we got more money coming in now. It came out of our pockets. We paid for it. We lose all our benefits here, lost our courthouse, our prison, everything we're losing here. That instead of going ahead and paying down the debt that we owe, hopefully, and help our infrastructure in our state, I just can't see how people in the state can allow it to happen. While we're out there protesting or writing letters. I know it's hard to have with our representatives. They're trying hard, but you know, I feel like we need to buy our governor here. Come and listen to our citizens down here. Look what we're facing. Our little town here, we're struggling to make things meet. Every time we try to solve problems, the state goes out and takes more money from us, or impose other mandates against us that we have to follow, which don't make no sense. It's like reading a report from KernCog, different program coming against to cost more money, more fees for offering nothing. Just another empire. But I will continue this when I ask for agenda requests. But I just want to know that it's ridiculous. You know, they should take care of us first, taxpayers first, than themselves. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Mr. Noor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In regard, and I will kind of jump on the coattails of that, what Orshel was just saying. the temporary, this surge of money coming into the state, they act like it was unexpected. I'm going to use that W word that really makes me break out in hives. They act like it's a windfall, unexpected windfall of money coming to the state. They passed a temporary sales increase, for heaven's sakes. We've got the highest sales taxes and income tax in the entire United States of America, and this money's coming in, it's like, wow, where'd all that money come from? The increase in wages for state employees that Orschel was referring to was proposed by the governor to the state employees' unions. And what he said was, if next year's tax revenues come in above our projections, I'm going to give you a 2% raise, every one of you, 500,000 of you. No, I beg your pardon, about 95,000, I'm sorry, 95,000 state employees, if projections were low. Now, if they weren't, then I'm not going to give you that 2% this year and 2.5% next year. But even if they come in lower than we anticipate this year, and they come in lower than we anticipated next year, we're still going to give you the whole 4.5% next year. I don't understand that. So he's saying, well, if we can pay for it, then we're going to give you 2% this year and then 2.5% next year. But if we can't pay for it this year, and then we can't pay for it next year, we'll give it to you anyway. Along with guarantees of no furloughs, along with guarantees that your pension fund will continue to be paid, which is hundreds of billions of dollars in the hole right now. It's not funded. It's a fairy tale, all right? And yet they're going to do this. And the scary part is if they do that, remember, this was a temporary tax increase, wasn't it? Temporary? So if you use a portion of the income from a temporary tax increase to provide raises to 95,000 state employees, what happens when the temporary taxes disappear? Does that mean that the raises disappear? You're going to cut those people's wages? Or does it mean we anticipate making them permanent? And they were never meant to be temporary. What is it? It's kind of confusing, isn't it? It does. It'll boggle the mind. All right, beyond that, July 9th groundbreaking for the new hotel. How exciting is that? That is huge. You know how long this community has been working on that and how hard and how many obstacles we've had to work through. It's fantastic. It's great news. Wonderful news. And everybody who has been a part of that can be very, very proud, and I look forward to seeing that. And that's going to be our second party in the first part of July on Rails to Trails. It will pale a little bit by comparison to the 3rd of July party, but it's going to be a humdinger. And then finally, I'll leave you with this, because you're all hardworking, tax-paying citizens who are engaged in government. Speaking of our government, abusing their powers. In Sacramento right now, there is one of many anti-gun bills, they're saying. These bills are not meant to make the streets safer. And this one I will tell you about. There is a bill that has been proposed, Assembly bill, and it is moving forward, I believe, to the Senate. And what it will do is, if you own any magazines that hold more than 10 rounds, if it passes, you have until July the 1st of 2014 to either destroy or sell out of state your magazine. If you do not, then the 2nd of July, you will be a criminal. All right. Law-abiding, tax-paying, honest, hardworking citizen whose magazines have never jumped up while you were sleeping and hurt anybody. If you do not get rid of them, destroy them, relieve yourselves and the state of them, you will be a criminal. All right. The criminals in the state of California are dying, not in the gas chambers, they're dying laughing their butts off. AB 109 has put them on the street that much quicker. They don't fear getting caught. Matter of fact, sometimes they welcome it. They're so busy busting into houses, spending a few days in Laredo and getting 3 square meals a day and then getting right back out is not a problem. AB 109 has made it a great place to live, the state of California. Now, if they can just count on the people in Sacramento to disarm the honest citizens, then it will make it so much easier and safer for the bad guys to victimize the honest, hardworking, tax-paying citizens. All in an effort to make California a better, safer place. What kind of ridiculous crap is that? All right, think about it. It's happening all around you. Thank God we live in the city of Taft. I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I have.
I'll be leasing my magazines from my brother in Oregon. Mr. Miller.
It is just nuts. I want to apologize for not attending last meeting 2 weeks ago. I had a little hard-to-digest food attack, and it lasted for about 2 weeks. I'm better now, and I feel good, so I want to, again, apologize for not, I try to make all the meetings I can.
Glad you're back.
I'm in just a little bit of a vein of what Dave Norris is talking about is we deal with regulators all the time, and they regulate us. A couple of the candidates tonight spoke about housing and getting housing. In a lot of other communities, it's very easy just to convert a patch of farmland and throw up some houses and no problem. But here, it's the regulators. It's not because we don't want housing or don't need housing, or we haven't been talking about it for the last 12 years I've been on the council, but we're dealing with regulators. And the problem with regulators is that they regulate, but they don't help. They're government agencies that are supposed to help people. They treat us all like criminals, or like we're all bad people, or we all fit in the same shoe size. And they don't offer suggestions. They'll come out and say, you can't do this and you can't do that. But if you did it this way or did it that way, but they don't tell you that. They just regulate us and fine us and tell us what we can't do, but they don't tell us what we can do. And they say, well, we'll be back. You figure it out, and we'll come back, and then we'll make a decision whether you can do this or do that. And my frustration since I've been on the council since 2002 is dealing with all these different regulators that we deal with, whether it's fish and wildlife, whether it's fish, whatever the feds are, the air district, EPA, DMV. I mean, you just go right down the list, and we're dealing with regulators all the time. But it's just like this bill that Councilman Norris talking about taking mags away. If they don't hear from you, they're going to pass it, and the governor's going to sign it, and you're going to sit back and say, what the hell happened? You can't go to Gene Fuller, and you can't go to Shannon Grove and Kevin McCarthy. They get it. They understand what we're talking about. You've got to send an email or a phone message or a letter to these other folks and let them know that you're watching them and that you don't want this to happen. And there's a whole bunch of stuff coming down. And they're just giddy up there right now because they've got all this extra money coming in. And they're not even looking to the future. They're just saying, well, we got all this extra money. Let's spend it now. Let's give raises. Let's institute these programs back, because that money's just going to be coming in again next year. Yeah. They're not even trying to save it or put some aside. And it's just sad. So anyway, it's very frustrating in regards to this housing. One of the reasons that we have the Rails to Trails up here is that we own it, it's redevelopment, and we don't have to deal with a bunch of regulators. So we can put a hotel up there without some critters getting in our way. So this is wonderful news, and it's going to be a great addition to the community. I think it's going to be full most of the time. Hopefully it'll bring a restaurant on, and hopefully we'll get Dollar General, and hopefully we'll get some other fast food restaurants, and we'll get the park that Ms. Napier was talking about, and we'll get this thing going. But it's just been a long haul, and mostly because we can't get things done, it's because of the regulators that are stifling us so much here, because they have to do their jobs. Mr. Mayor, that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Just wanted to give kudos out to the chamber for the great car show. Enjoyed it.
Did you win?
No, I don't enter to win. I enter to support. And I checked my car 3 times. There was no trophy. But great job. I really appreciate it. Something else I wanted to let the community know is that the Fox Theater in Taft is is struggling somewhat. Most of you have probably heard that 35 millimeter film is going the way of the 8-track tape. It's just not something that the people are providing anymore, so they have to update all their equipment to digital service. I met with Kent Koch, who I found out his mother was my kindergarten teacher, so I have a connection now. But anyway, and we talked extensively about the Fox Theater. You know, it's a great place. It's a wonderful environment. It shows the first-run movies. You got 3 options every night, and I do not understand why I still see things on Facebook like, went to see a movie in Bakersfield. I don't get it, folks. The Fox Theater is an anchor project for downtown. It's important to the downtown. It's important to the citizens. Once you lose it, I'm not sure we'll ever get it back again. I know we said that 10 years ago, but it makes money. It does okay, but $200,000 for updated digital equipment and possibly $60,000 or something like that to fix the air conditioning is an issue. The only way we can help out is to patronize, support them. Go see your movies in Taft, and if you have some crazy reason to run off to Bakersfield, do that, but see your movies in Taft. But I'm willing to bet that if you see your movie in Taft, you'll buy your food in Taft, and you'll shop a few stores downtown, and you'll find out that you've been missing out on some pretty cool stuff. So support the Fox Theater. I'm asking that as a personal favor to my kindergarten teacher's son. Moving on to the regulations and stuff. Craig Jones and I and who else was in that meeting with Fish and Wildlife? Oh, Jerry Helt. Well, anyway, there was a group of people that met with Fish and Wildlife. Now, I have to kind of quantify this. Fish and Wildlife is really kind of 2 things. Everybody knows what a game warden is. Okay. Those are the guys that have their boots on the ground and running around and know what's going on. And then you have the folks in Sacramento. I'm going to say it, they don't have a clue, but we invited them down, and rather than meeting in an office here at City Hall, we decided we're going to meet on the property that we're trying to develop homes for people. And we got up there, and they're giving us all their what-fors and how-tos and stuff, and one of the people in the meeting just happened to mention this field is nothing but weeds. And I saw one of the representatives from Fish and Wildlife basically kind of choke up and almost tear up. And that's when I realized that when you're that emotionally connected, you can't make a logical decision. You can't be logical. It's like trying to determine funeral arrangements when your parent just died. Yeah. You cannot be rational when you're doing that. And you know, we made some headway with them, but
what do they call the weeds, Mr. Mayor?
Their habitat. For heaven's sakes, don't you know it?
I'll give an update. I met with them again.
Okay, very good. I'm just talking about the meeting that I was involved with, and I know Craig Jones went on with some other meetings. I had to get out of them because my head was hurting. So the bottom line is the City of Taft is working extremely hard to try to facilitate the building of those homes. It's not the city's fault that it's not happening. It's not the property owner's fault that it's not happening. He's got people on a waiting list that would buy homes as fast as he could build them. So the planets are aligned. We just got to get Sacramento and Fresno to make some sense and understand that eventually people are more important than a couple of squirrels. And the kit fox has already gotten out of there. He knows it's coming. So just to let you know that we're trying our best to get those houses going. The hotel motel will be a great anchor project for the Rails to Trails, which will, as Mr. Miller said, we believe will bring restaurants, will bring other amenities to that area. So everything's kind of moving in the right direction, but we still need those rooftops, and we're going to continue to work diligently to get those. So that's all I have to say tonight, and I will move on to the Planning Commissioner's report. Good evening, Mr. Warren.
Good evening, how are you all this evening?
Fine, thank you.
We had a great turnout for the vacancies. I'm glad to see people that are very interested in the community. Dave kind of stole our thunder. It's approved. We did the last that we had to do, so you did yours. In addition to that, we had a review of a site plan and sent forward some stipulations to staff for the ice vending manufacturing property down by the water dispensing facility in the Pilot Center. And we gave the approval tentatively to move forward with the new office buildings that will be on Industrial Way on the Baker Hughes property that are for one of their subcontractors. I don't recall the name of them, nor that they disclosed it. But those projects are taken care of, and it was a pleasant time with Mr. Walchuk, and he just felt to let you know that it was time for him to take a next phase in his life, and that other people have the opportunity to serve and to be a part of the process in the city. So that's the extent of the report. Do you have questions?
John?
No questions. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
I'd also like to comment to you guys on the council there. You're hitting it dead on every time with this Second Amendment infringement, and they're taking of our money to do whatever they want, not consulting us. We're in deep and serious trouble if we don't put an end to these people doing this. Thank you.
Well said, thank you. Okay, moving on to department reports.
Nobody jumping in?
No department reports?
I guess I could take this time to introduce Mark. Mark, if you want to stand up. This is Mark Staples. He is our interim planning director.
I thought he was the guy who got caught with the gun. It was in the paper.
Well, if you read the paper, yeah. He's not the guy with the caption next to him in the paper. He was not arrested. Anyway, I don't know if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Mark.
Good evening. Mark Staples. I'm with a company called MIG Hova Ireland. I've been with the company about 10 years now, primarily serving contracts such as this. You're my 8th city, I believe now. I'm starting to lose count. And also I've served with 2 different county agencies. I'm excited to be here. I'm looking forward to working with Craig and the other departments and getting a lot of these projects moving forward, especially that housing project on the west side of town.
Thank you very much for helping us out. We're on the edge, and we need to keep that stuff going.
He hit the door, and we loaded him up with work, and he's off and running.
Just so everybody out there in TV land knows, Mark has been told what a pro-business, pro-responsible development community this is. And Mark is here, open for business, just like the community of Taft. He is here to help. Right, Mark?
Definitely.
Very good. Excellent. Orchel?
No.
Thank you.
Mr. Miller, thank you for being here.
I don't know if you want a quick planning department report, but it looks like Pizza Hut might be opening soon, next couple weeks, so.
That will make a lot of people happy.
Yeah, got signs up, so hopefully.
Yeah, I saw it as well, so we looked into it, we called up the developer, and it looks like maybe in a week or two, they may be operational.
Very good.
All right, thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much. City manager statements. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. Actually, I was corresponding with Gary Coates as you guys were speaking to see if there's any further updates, but the hotel did close on Friday. Escrow is closed. It's a done deal. As Councilman Knorr pointed out, there will be a groundbreaking scheduled at 10 o'clock on the 9th.
On the 9th?
I believe it's 10.
Is that BYOS? Bring your own shovel?
No, Gary's excited. He'll be bringing the shovels and just all the stuff to go along with that. But people are paying attention in the investor world because they know that is closed escrow, and they're knocking because they want to put things next to the hotel, as we all knew that would be the cornerstone of our development up there. So
That's great.
that's exciting. Some of the stuff that I know I can't say, but I wish I could because it's exciting if it comes true.
The community will hear it. We're all looking forward to it.
One of the things that Gary Coates is proposing, he'll be bringing a site plan for staff to look at and then bring it to the planning commission, is a plan to build an RV park on Second and Supply Row at the old trading post, using the old trading post as kind of the clubhouse. He has already spent some money on some architectural drawings, which a few of the council has seen. His goal is not for it to be there for 10 or 15 years, but as development pushes out, it may go away or be moved somewhere else, depending how successful it is. But his intentions are to build something that's nice, has nice trees and block walls and concrete, not just a dirt parking lot, and full hookups. Long-term RV spots and reserving at least, I think he said 20% for overnighters, so people come in for weekend events and stuff like that. Racing, they'll have a place to stay. And he's put some time and effort in looking at the need in this community with the races and a lot of the functions that we have here with high school reunions and stuff. We all know it's needed, so that's kind of exciting. As the mayor pointed out, we've been speaking with Department of Fish and Wildlife, the department, not the agency or the corporation. Yesterday, I had another meeting with the developer and Fish and Wildlife and Fish and Wildlife, Inc. So we had the state and the feds on the phone discussing the project. After a lengthy discussion, I think it was agreed that the project has a current permit from years ago. And since the city had done some work on Rails to Trails, they considered it an active permit. The Fish and Wildlife, Inc. Entered into an MOU with the developer years ago, and they're willing to uphold that agreement. They indicated that if he was to start over, that agreement may get worse, or basically they don't do MOUs anymore. Working with the Department of Fish and Game State, I think we have found an avenue for the project to move forward. And when we left, it was the applicant's intentions to move forward with what he heard yesterday.
Good.
So we think we have a way to move forward on the 2 houses for model homes. The only thing that would prevent that at this point they are currently doing an adult study looking for blunt-nosed leopard lizards, in which that project area has been looked over numerous times, and there has never been any signs of blunt-nosed leopard lizards. So we're pretty confident that it'll come up negative as it has in the past.
Of all the critters, that's the worst one.
Yeah.
Well, that's a showstopper.
Yeah.
It's federal and state, fully protected species. There's no take permit authorization for it. It's a deal killer. We also discussed some property that some local businessmen own out on the east side of town, and they're looking at possibly putting that into a habitat conservation plan for folks to buy offset lands as we have projects that come forward to the city. So both those things are positive things. Also, Gary Coates still looking at doing some market rate condos on Rails to Trails. And then we've also discussed some projects with Supervisor Couch in the county areas next to the city limits, using some of the county CDBG housing funds and stuff to build some affordable housing. So we're working on that, and that's all I have this evening.
That's very good. Thank you. That's good information. Appreciate it. We'll move on to item 13, which is the city attorney's statements.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I have nothing tonight.
All right, thank you very much. Item 14, future agenda requests. Gentlemen?
Mr. Walchuk, I think, deserves a recognition.
Yeah.
I believe he's been on at least 2 terms, so.
I believe you're correct in that regard.
Yeah, he's done a yeoman's job, and he deserves something, so.
I would concur. A certificate of appreciation would be great. Did you have something, Mr. Brown?
Yeah. Back to my council statement, you know, I like to invite our governor here to one of our meetings. Maybe give him an invitation or something to our concerns.
Is there a particular time you're out of town, Dave?
Oh, come on now.
I'm sure he's got Taft out as a place he will not.
I'll buy the table. Go ahead and invite Nancy Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein while you're at it.
Yeah.
He needs to spend more time in small towns like ours, instead of Sacramento, San Francisco, or L.A.
Actually, I believe he spent a great deal of time in small towns in China when he was trying to hunt up people to invest in high-speed rail. I mean, he was in rural China.
Well, the last governor, I think that's been it was Governor Merriam in 1935. I think it was the last time we had a governor in Taft. We had one of the governors out here at Elk Hills, but they didn't make it into town.
Well, perhaps maybe you are on something, and I don't mean, no, maybe you're on to something. I'm clarifying that. You're on something.
It wouldn't hurt.
You know what? I would concur with that.
Concur,
we should send him a letter inviting him to view not only the richest oil fields in the country, some of the most pristine country that's here, Carrizo Plains, the oil worker monument, the things that we're doing.
I got a question for him. I'd like to walk him in our CCF and say, really?
Well, if we can get him here, that would be a great thing.
So maybe expand on that, especially given the talk in Sacramento about taxing our economy to death and stifling the growth that has benefited the state over the past several years. So you know what? I believe you're right.
I agree with you, and I think we keep that out of the letter, but send the invitation. And if he gets here, we'll have that conversation. But I'm sure if we put that conversation in the letter, he'll never show up. So, but yeah, I think that's a great idea.
We'll bend towards his not agenda, but his calendar. So we'll make ourselves available when he's available.
Maybe when he's traveling through to San Diego or someplace. Yeah. So anyway, great idea. Anything else, gentlemen?
No, I'd make that lunch. Just want to let you know.
Very good. We're going to move on to the consent calendar, items 15 through 22. All items listed on the consent calendar shall be considered routine and will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the City Council requests specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Any item removed from the consent calendar will be considered after the regular business items. And what I will do is let you know that on items, on item number, I'm good.
For 19.
What, pardon me?
one's
This one's 19? Oh, okay, yeah. On item number 19, right where I made my note, there was a mistake on the property list, on the engineer's report, and so there will be a new page 7 placed on, in the report, just so you know. And all it was the property was inadvertently left off. So, let you know that. And so, and then I guess we're going to remove and will not bring back item number 21, is that correct?
That's staff recommendation.
Okay. So, items 15 through 22. Item 15 is minutes of the regular June 4th meeting. 16 is payment of bills. 17, second reading of an ordinance to establish administrative citations and penalties for code violations. Item 18, resolution adopting a preliminary budget based on the 2012-13 level of appropriations. Item 19, landscape maintenance district number 1 with the inserted new page 7. Item number 20, contract for interim director of planning and development services. Item number 21 has been removed and will not be brought back. And item number 22, the purchase of a citizens RIMS for the police department. I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember North?
Yes.
Councilmember Fryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Miller?
Yes.
And Mayor Linder?
Yes, thank you. That passes a 4-0 vote. And at this time, the city council will enter into closed session and have conference with labor negotiator Craig Jones, city manager, under Government Code Section 54957.6, all units. Thank you so much for being here tonight, and have a great rest of the week.